Thank you for tuning in to The Kingdom is Within, the unspoken truths about the Messiah Jesus, a black extraterrestrial being. I want to say thank you for tuning in. I know you had a lot of things that you could have been doing, but you decided to tune into this program, and we're going to do everything in our power to give you information that will make this program worth your while. I want to start by saying that our people are in trouble. And that's the whole purpose of this program. It's not a religious program, it's a spiritual program. We acknowledge all religions from Adam to Noah and all the messengers, news bearers, and teachers from Adam to Noah, from Abraham to Moses, from Jesus to Muhammad to the present day messengers, news bearers, and teachers in our midst, such as Elijah Muhammad, who was a messenger to us after the 400-year bondage, spoken of in Genesis 15, chapter 13 and 14 verse, that people want to keep continuing to say that, oh, that's talking about the Jews. Yeah, right. Meanwhile, if that happened to us, then that's what it's talking about. And then the personification of Malchizedek in our midst, that's in our midst today as we speak. And this Malchizedek is, a sister asked me this yesterday, said, brother, explain to me, why do they say this Malchizedek don't have a mother, a father, no genealogy? And I say, because this is an etheric being, an avatar. In that movie Avatar, if you notice, the avatars had dreads. So they tell us movie stories in these movies all the time. And that was something that I noticed. I never really saw the movie, but when I saw the people, I said, oh, I noticed they were green skinned with dreads. So this Malchizedek is an ancient being that is an etheric being, an avatar. Avatars come to the planet, have always come to the planet, and this man has been coming to the planet since the beginning, since its inception. They have been coming to this planet before it even had our life forms on it, before the statement was made by the gods that stood and said, let us make a man in our image. He is one of these men. One of these black beings that you read about, but they've confused the story so much that we don't know what to think or believe. I was talking yesterday at this program, and a woman asked me, she said, well, brother, what kind of degrees do you have? Oh, let me finish this Malchizedek. So I was trying to tell her that it says no mother, no father, no genealogy, because this is how long this being has been coming to this planet. And the original story of the black race, which is ancient Sumeria, and if you Google ancient Sumeria, you'll find them saying that alien race came here. This was the right story, but they have taken out the black race. This is the story where the black race came here from another star system, and these are the men that came here and said, let us make man in our image. So this being is one of these beings, and back in the times of ancient Sumeria, he was known as Murdoch. In the time of ancient Babylon, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, he was known as Malchizedek. You can find him in Genesis 14, chapter 18 verse, where Abraham met with him. And you can find him in Hebrews 7, where it says that Jesus is a high priest from the order of Malchizedek. This Malchizedek is an order from the star system that they came from. This is the oldest order on the planet with the most ancient knowledge known to man. The knowledge that used to be on the planet, they took this knowledge off of the planet with them when they left, because they knew that the Caucasians had 6,000 years to rule and that they would be looking for all of the ancient knowledge. Now, the books that you see on this table today, I set these books out because this is some of the knowledge that was taken off of the planet to make sure that it never fall into the hands of the Caucasians, because they have taken our information and they have plagiarized it, they have converted it into something white and turned our story into his story or history according to them. So these books here are just some of the information to show you that this information has not been on this planet for at least 6,000 years. And I say 6,000 years because that's the beginning of the Caucasian rule on this planet. These beings left this star system and went back home, and they took this information with them. And they took the original language off of this planet. So when this being comes back to the planet, he's the first time this information has been on this planet for the last 6,000 years. They took it because they did not want it to fall into the hands of the Caucasians. Now, this is an absolute fact. I'm going to give you some of the titles of some of this information. The ancient Egyptian materialization rites. The Egyptian healing temple ritual. the holographic brain, the power of three-dimensional visualization. Ancient Egypt and the magic word of power. Eternal life, eternal death. The breath. The science of sound healing, part 1 and part 2. The Egyptian way to overcome bad habits. Esoteric or exoteric. Egyptian magic, charms and amulets for protection. The sacred tones. The ancient Egyptian sacred geometry. It's the alignment time. The Egyptian deities in your mind. The Sphinx and the Egyptian magic. See, what they have done is they have turned everything around. So when you hear talking about ancient Egypt, they want to say, oh, the ancient Egyptians were pagans because they worship all these different deities. Let me tell you something. When a person is telling you certain things, they're telling you about themselves. So when they say that these people were pagans, they are the real pagans because they're worshiping demons and demigods and all kind of stuff. That's why the Catholic Church have gargoyles all over the churches. If you notice churches all over the country, the Christian, the Catholic churches have these gargoyles all over the building. And then they have the nerve to try to tell us, well, you know, gargoyles are to ward off evil spirits. Come on now. We're doing this program to help our people open up the door to their common sense because the educational process has completely shut the door on our common sense. Now, common sense ought to tell you that's an outright lie because have you ever put gargoyles on your house? Do you buy gargoyles and put them in your house to ward off evil spirits? Do you put gargoyles on the outside of your home? No, if you put gargoyles on the outside of your home, you are welcoming these evil spirits. You are calling these evil spirits to you. This is what you're doing. You're drawing negative energy towards you. It's just like running around here wearing skull and bones on your body, putting on the Grim Reaper tattooed on your body. You calling on the Grim Reaper, and guess what? He's coming your way. And that's an absolute fact. We have a lot of people going to church wearing skulls and bones and all of these demonic symbols, and nobody's teaching our people about these symbols. When you're putting symbols on your body, that's why that book here says amulets, charms, and amulets for your protection. I wear a 6-pointed star and an ankh. Her sister was looking at me yesterday, asking me a stupid question. Well, brother, what kind of degrees do you have? I said, what do you mean degrees? She said, do you have a degree in theology? I said, no. She said, have you been to any theologian school? I said, no. She said, well, you know, and I see you got the 6-pointed star on your neck. I said, yeah. I said, well, see, sister, what you have to know is that this 6-pointed star only represents two things. It's two pyramids connected together. So when you get through talking, the 6-pointed star is an ancient Egyptian symbol as well. And that's what we have to understand. We got to get out of this nonsense. The 6-pointed star is not really a star. It's two pyramids, one facing up, going up, and one facing down. As above, so below. And so that's all that's saying. As above in heaven, so is it going to be on this planet eventually. And that's why these beings are coming back to this planet so they can seize control and stop these people from doing the wicked things that they have in plan for us. You don't have a clue. The Most High is not about to allow these people to do what they think they're going to do to Abraham's children. If they do it to everybody on the planet, it ain't going to happen to Abraham's children, and I bear witness to this. So this is the reason for them coming. We have always had divine intervention in our affairs, but because we don't know that we are the people that has always had this divine intervention, we don't take it seriously. Because you have to remember, we were brought into bondage. And I was telling somebody, quit crying about, oh, they took us and they did this to us, and they did that to us, nigga, quit whining. Because the prophecies is very clear that in Genesis 15th chapter, 13th verse, Abraham is told exactly what's going to happen to us. He's told by this being that you're looking at, Malchizedek, this being right here on this table, the brother that's with us now, he's the one that told Abraham, Abraham, in the future, your seed are going to be strangers in a land that is not their own, and be made to serve a wicked people for 400 years. and be afflicted by these people. Now, if it happened to us, open up the door to your common sense, then you better know that this is who it's talking about. Quit thinking about what them Jews is talking about, and they put that movie out here just recently called The Exodus, and used a little white kid with blue eyes as God. Are you kidding me? God is black. Let's just make this clear. Elijah Muhammad said this once before, and nobody wanted to really accept what he was saying. He didn't say the Most High. He said, but the God that you praying to is a black man. Now, when we were growing up and our grandmothers had this white Jesus all over the walls and everything, all throughout our history, our people loved some Jesus. We didn't care if Jesus was green. We didn't care if Jesus was blue. It didn't matter what color Jesus was. Our people loved Jesus, and to this day, we are the most spiritual. We are the most passionate when it comes to Jesus. But now here's the real question. Now that we know Jesus is black, is he still going to be your Lord and Savior? I'm talking to the Caucasians. That's an absolute, now that's a statement to really ponder on. Now that we know he black, is he still going to be Lord and Savior? And a lot of them white folks ain't going to accept that under no circumstance, but guess what? We don't really care. Because at this day and time, the things that are about to take place, they better grab hold to a black Jesus, and they better grab hold to him fast. Because when things take place, they are going to fall with him. And they go for all you niggas that's following these people that you know are wicked people, you're going to fall with them too. And I'm going to be honest with you. I pray for them to come. Please come do something with these people that they done got on my last damn nerve. I don't know about nobody else, but this is all I pray for. So I don't have no problem with accepting that we have a black civilization that's coming here, because Elijah Muhammad clearly said one thing. His number one question was, who is the original man? The answer to that question was, the original man is the Asiatic black man. Owner, maker, cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, and God of the universe. Why did he say that? He said that because he knew that there's a black civilization that's out beyond the stars that these people will never, ever tell you about. And they keep talking about ancient Atlantis and all of this stuff. Well, let me tell you something about ancient Atlantis. Ancient Atlantis was a black civilization. How do we know? Because ancient Atlantis predates the Adam and Eve story. Ancient Atlantis predates Adam and Eve, meaning it predates the white civilization. The white civilization, there's no history of a white civilization. Oh, I ain't gonna stop saying white, because ain't nothing white about these people. White means purity. We gotta get out of calling these people white. Because every time we call them white, we call them pure. So let's just call them Caucasians. And listen to that word, a Caucasian. Caucus, a Caucus Asian, a dead Asian. That's what that means. When they were walking in the mountains of Europe on all fours, and Abraham was the one that was selected to go and civilize these people. And when he went to civilize these people, he was given the formula for the swine, which came out of ancient Egypt. He had to go into Egypt because they were walking on all fours. They were dead carcasses all over the mountains. He couldn't get up in there to come and civilize them, so he went to ancient Egypt. That's the story where he took his wife Sarah, and they say, well, Abraham lied saying that was his sister. Let me tell you something. Back in those days, to keep the blood pure, Sarah was his sister. She was his sister through his dad. It was one of his fathers. They had different mothers. They had different mothers, but they had the same dad. So he didn't lie. That was his sister and also his wife. It was permissible to take a woman from your dad's bloodline as long as it came from another woman. This is why the story of David, where David's son raped one of his daughters from another mother, and his son got killed over that. So why did he do that? Because it was permissible for them to intermarry or have relation with a woman that came from their father's bloodline, as long as it was a different mother. So Abraham did not lie. When Abraham took Sarah up into Egypt, that's where the law came to cover the face, because she was such a beautiful black woman that he was afraid that somebody might kill him over her beauty and take her. So this is why this face veil came into effect after this story of Abraham. When Abraham got into Egypt, it was the Pharaoh Zoser and the scientist Imhotep that created the swine. And they used the genes of a cat, rat, and a dog to create this animal. And this one, Elijah Muhammad came forth and told us to stop eating the swine because it was a grafted animal from the cat, rat, and the dog. That knowledge had not been given to our people till Elijah Muhammad gave it to us, and then Malchizedek, the next brother who was to come in succession to Elijah, came and wrote the book called The Dog. You got to get this book. In that book called The Dog, at his bookstore, the whole formula for the graftation of that swine is in that book. I mean, it's very thorough to the point that he put it in there so the world scientists will know that Elijah Muhammad did not lie when he said that's a grafted animal. It was not one of the animals that was on the ark. That animal is grafted from a cat, rat, and a dog, and when they put it together, the first graft that came out of it was the wild boar. If you notice, a boar looked like a big rat. It's hairy. So it could not be domesticated, so they let it go and continue with the experiment until they got what's called the pig today. And if you look at the skin of the pig and the skin of the Caucasian race, those that do not have any melanin whatsoever, because when all you white folks get through talking, all of you white folks, well, I'm sorry, back to the Caucasians. When all of you Caucasians get through talking, all of you that can tan under the sun, that means you've been tapped somewhere down your bloodline. Because there's no way that you will be able to tan unless somebody black tapped your blood. That's all that's to it. So when you get through talking and thinking you're Caucasian and stuff, no, you're not. You're what's called a mulatto. You are part black and part Caucasian. And if it was not true, you would not be able to tan. You would only get burnt up under the sun and get red. So because you can tan and you pride yourself on your beautiful tan and this and that, because you're part black. Accept the facts. Now, back to the skin of the swine and the regular Caucasian. If you look at their skin, put it close together, you'll notice that the skin of this animal and the skin of the Caucasian look just alike. If you put it up under a microscope, you'll see the skin color, tone, everything, it almost look identical. So the point is, Abraham was given this animal, he took him into the Caucasian mountains, they ate up all the dead carcasses. That's why it was ordered, do not eat this animal, because it was only grafted for waste disposal. And it had worms in it to this day. And what happened was the Caucasian, they don't do what the Most High say do. They do everything just the opposite. If he say go left, they go right. If he say look up, look down. This is what they do. So what did they do? They found a way to make food out of it. Abraham and them did not eat this food. Abraham and them brought them in there for the waste disposal. Eventually, they found a way to make it, cook it, make pork chops and onion and gravy and all this. And so the bottom line is that they're eating it to this day. That's why if you look at all the hams in the grocery store, what does it say? Cured. Cured from what? These are the things we have to start thinking about. So why people, I heard a brother in the restaurant today say, I need me some real bacon, and I need me a bacon and egg sandwich. I need some real bacon. I don't need none of that turkey bacon. Okay, let me share this with you. The scripture said, do not even touch the carcass. Do not even touch it. Why did it say that? Well, here we are, 4,000 years later after Moses. Google this. The parasite that's found in store-bought pork. The parasites and the disease that's running rampant in store-packaged pork. I think it's called something like DMSA or something like that, but it is a virus that is spreading like a plague that you know nothing about, because they ain't got it on TV, but they constantly got you buying this kind of meat. So what I'm telling you is that this is important for you to know. You have got to Google this so you can see that this is not a joke. And again, just Google store-bought, just Google disease from store-bought pork, and you're going to be absolutely floored. Just touching it sometimes is spreading. It's spreading all throughout Europe. and it's going to come across the water eventually. It's probably over here already, but they will never broadcast this kind of information to you. So that's why we're giving this information for our people to wake up. This swine was never intended for us to eat. We was given this on the plantation, and it got us through. And this brother Malachi said, and while the slave master was feeding our people a forbidden food that was killing our cells, he said the Most High gave us watermelon. Because what we didn't know is watermelon was the cleansing agent for our people, and that's why they started making a joke out of it. Yeah, them niggas love watermelon. No, the Most High was feeding us watermelon to cleanse our bodies, and watermelon is one of the most powerful alkaline foods that you can find. So that's why we were given watermelon on the plantation, to cleanse our bodies from what the slave master and the devil was giving us. So I'm going to use that term devil, because we got to know what we're dealing with. Elijah Muhammad came and gave us the information about God, the devil, and self. Why is that information important? Because when you know the nature of a person that you're dealing with, you can deal with that person more effectively, wouldn't you agree? It's like a woman that have a man that's smiling in her face, hey baby, you know I love you and such and such, but every time he get away from her, this nigga's a scandalous nigga on the street. He can't turn down nothing but his shirt collar, but he always in her face. He messing around with all these other women and bringing that straight back to the woman that he claimed to love. You follow what I'm saying? So when you know, or a man has got a woman that he think is a virtuous woman, and she out there in the street messing with all kind of men and bringing that right back to the man that she claimed to love. Now, when you know the nature of that person, you can deal with that person accordingly. That is important information. I don't give a damn what nobody say. You must know the nature of the person that you're dealing with. So when it comes to the Caucasians, to know that they are the devil, now you can deal with them accordingly. You know how to deal with them. I don't care what nobody say. Like that sister that got killed in Texas. Had that woman been educated about God, the devil, and self, she would have known when them two devils pulled her over, she would have clicked. Okay, I'm dealing with devils. Let me don't provoke the devil. But because she did not have that kind of knowledge, she provoked these devils. They arrested that sister and wound up maybe molesting her. I don't know what they did, but wound up